Good morning, children. We shall see one very important topic, epidermis. Last class we have learned about the simple permanent tissues. No, so what are the classification? Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Out of these three, which is dead? Sclerenchyma is dead, and the parenchyma and collenchyma both are living. And we have learned about the characteristic of parenchyma, function, and location. So now we'll see the epidermis. So what is epidermis? Where we can see the epidermis? Epidermis we can see in the outer layer of the plant. Outer layer of the plant we can call it as epidermis. Actually this is a practical. So after reopening we'll do this practical. Just I'll give some idea regarding the epidermis. So what is epidermis? Outermost layer of cells are called epidermis. Normally for that we want to take a leaf, and we want to give a pressure to the leaf, and when we remove, after giving pressure we can remove the outer layer of the leaf. So the outer layer of the leaf is called epidermis. Okay, outer layer of the leaf is called epidermis. And here in that epidermis layer we can see epidermal tissues. Okay, and it is a protective layer. Main function is to protect the plant from hot and cold and also from infection. How we have a skin for us to protect from climate, and also they protect from infection, no? Like that plant also will have a outer layer which can be seen in leaf also, stem also, root also. Everywhere we can see this layer, and we'll call by different name that I'll give. So epidermis is the outer layer of plant, and where it will act as the protective layer. It will protect the plants from infection and also very hot and cold climate. Is that clear, children? And here the epidermis, no, this epidermis, if it is in a xerophytic condition, if you can able to see, no, xerophytic plants and all, the epidermis layer become very thick, and because they want to prevent the transpiration. So to prevent the transpiration, the epidermis, they started to secrete a thick waxy layer. Okay, epidermis started to secrete a thick waxy layer that we can call it as cutin. Cutin, cutin. So what is epidermis? Outer layer of the leaf. So here we are doing a leaf experiment. So we'll call it as outer layer of the leaf is called epidermis. Epi means upon, dermis means skin. Epi means upon, dermis means skin. So what we can see, the outer layer only, that we can call it as epidermis. And what is the role? It will protect the plant leaf from the external environment and along with the infection. And if it is present in the xerophytic condition, because they want to safeguard, if it is present in the dry habitats, they want to prevent the water loss. For that they used to secrete a waxy, okay, waxy like substance that we can call it as a cutin. Cutin, cutin. And this cutin will prevent the loss of water from the plant, because it is a waxy layer. What is waxy, children? Waxy means melug. So if a waxy layer is over there in the leaf, automatically it will prevent the loss of water, or it will prevent the transpiration. Is that clear, children? So that is only we are call it as epidermis and cutin. And here this waxy layer, it will act as a water resistant layer. So automatically the water is not moved from the leaf to the environment. So we can prevent the transpiration. And even the epidermis can be seen in the root. So we can able to see the root hair, no? When you pluck the plant, you can able to see the root hair. The root hairs are nothing but the extension of epidermal cells. Root hairs are nothing but extension of epidermal cells. Is that clear, children? So epidermis we can see in root also, stem also, leaf also. If it is present in leaf, it will secrete the waxy layer substance that we can call it as a cutin. It will prevent the transpiration. What do you mean by transpiration? Because normally loss of water would takes place in the leaves through the stomata, but it will prevent the transpiration, thereby a loss of water it won't occur in the plants. Is that clear, children? And even we can able to see the epidermal cells in the root. So where we can see means we can see in the root hairs. Is that clear, children? So this is the concept regarding epidermis in leaf and also root. And come to this structure here, here this is and all we can see the epidermal cells, and between epidermal cells we can see a beautifully kidney bean shaped structure, that is only we can call it as chloroplast. That is only we can call it as the stomata. Sorry children, it is only we can call it as stomata. So inside stomata we can see a beautiful orange like substance, that is only we can call it as chloroplast. That is only we can call it as chloroplast. So here what you want to remember means stomata are present in the epidermal layer of the leaf. Stomatas were present on the epidermal layer of the leaf. Is that clear? So that concept only you want to remember. So what is epidermis? We know where the stomata will be present. Stomata will be present over the epidermal layer, and the epidermis will protect the leaf from the external environment and also infection. And in dry condition the epidermis will secrete a waxy like substance, we can call it as a cuticle. And even epidermal cells we can see in the roots, and that is only we call it as root hairs. Is that clear, children? So next we'll move on to the next slide. This is very, very important. So what is the structure and what is the function? First structure you just see. Layer of cells covering surface of entire plant. Okay. What is that? That is only your epidermis. It is a layer of cells covering surface of entire plant. What is that? Epidermis. Okay. Epidermis. And what is it? Act as a barrier to microorganisms and pathogens. So it will protect the plant from the entry of microorganisms and pathogens. And this epidermis structure is very thin and transparent. So just try it with the help of any leaf in your places. Just give a pressure to the leaf and you can able to remove the outer layer which is very, very transparent, children. It is very thin also. You just do it in home and just take a snap and send it to me. The epidermis of leaf. Okay, just practice in any leaf. If you didn't get means you keep the leaves for 5 minutes within the water. Inside the water you keep the leaf for 5 minutes and you just remove the outer layer and you will get the outer layer very beautifully. So it is a layer is thin and transparent. And what is the purpose why the epidermis is very transparent means? Because it only allows light to pass through the leaf and for the photosynthesis. That is the purpose. The layer was very, very thin. Okay, and epidermis tissues have tiny hairs protecting from the surface of epidermis. Trichomes are abundant in some plant leaves. So that imagine this is a leaf means some leaves we can able to see small hair like structure. Okay, so these hairs are nothing but the extension of epidermis only. What is the hair which is present in the leaf? No, it is nothing but the extension of leaves. So how can we call that extension of leaf instead of calling leaf hair? So normally we'll call it in root hair, but we won't call it as a leaf hair. Instead we'll use a term trichomes. Trichomes. So what is trichomes? Extension of the epidermal cells in the leaf is called trichomes. And what is the trichomes role? The leaf trichomes trap water to prevent water loss. That is the role of trichomes. And we have learned root hairs or elongations of epidermal cells in the root. Even the root hairs also will help to increase the absorption of water. And epidermal tissues in leaves are covered with a waxy cuticle. Okay. And what is the purpose? The waxy cuticle prevents the water loss from the leaves. And some epidermal cells secrete a poisonous or this is very, very important. Okay, some epidermal cells secrete a poisonous or bad tasting substances because they want to escape from the grazing animals. If not, all animals will graze and will go, and how they can able to continue their life, no? So they want to escape from the grazing animals. For that some plants the epidermis used to secrete toxic substance or poisonous substance to escape from the grazing animal. So the bitter taste, no, if it is a bitter taste, normally animals won't graze that leaves. So this and all, by nature even these leaves, they'll have these kind of characters. Is that clear, children? So we have learned about the structure of epidermis in leaf and also in root, and it is transparent, means it is for entry of light for photosynthesis, and it has a root has also will increase the absorption of water, and cuticle will prevent the water loss from the leaves, and some epidermal cells secrete a poisonous or bad tasting substance to prevent grazing by the animals. So that's all about the structure and function of epidermis. Please write this in your notebook and keep it. And here, normally, what is the role of stomata, children? We have learned in lower classes, no? The role of stomata is to exchange gases, and also some amount of water molecules also will get inside through the stomata, because if opening is there, some transpiration also would take place over there, and also exchange of gases would take place through the stomata. So what are the two roles of stomata? Very often they'll ask in this, this question only, okay, exchange of gases. Please write the two functions of stomata. Very often they'll ask in the Sagodhya questions, what is the two functions of stomata? One function is exchange of gases, first point. Second, it will help for the transpiration. These are the two layers of the two functions of the stomata. Now we have learned about the epidermis in root, epidermis in leaf. So what about the epidermis in the stem? That also we need to learn. So we'll learn. That is the third point. Is the outer layer of a branch of tree different from the outer layer of the young stem? Yes, is the outer layer of branch of tree differ from the outer layer of the young stem? Yes, because we have learned in the previous classes about the simple permanent tissues. So, simple permanent tissues are live, and they can be seen in the young stems of plant and shrubs of the plants. But once it's matured, it will become a permanent tissues. It will become a permanent tissues, okay? So that I'll explain later, but you want to remember here, the outer layer of the old tree is different from the young stem or young plant. And here, as plants grow older, the outer productive tissues called epidermis changes. So we know epidermis will be seen in leaf also, root also. We have covered both. Now we are learning the epidermis in the stem. But as the plant grows, the epidermis slowly it started to change, because the simple permanent tissue is going to become a complex or permanent tissues. It is replaced by the secondary meristem. Okay, secondary meristem means that is also will divide, and they will form a new kinds of cells in the plant, which will give new cells on both the sides. And what is the name? We have to call, means we have to call it as suberin, S-U-B-E-R-I-N. How we are telling cuticle in the leaf, like that. What is the epidermis of the stem means? You want to give the term suberin. Very often they'll ask the same question for a Sagodhya. So what is the outer layer of the stem? Simply will tell epidermis, but once it get matured, the plant become matured, means automatically we won't call it as epidermis. Instead of epidermis, we can call it as suberin. Okay, S-U-B-E-R-I-N. So what is suberin, children? Suberin means here, because before the cells we have learned, the cells will have so many intercellular spaces. Once the plant started to grow, the cells become tightly coiled. There won't be any intercellular spaces. So if there is no intercellular spaces, they will secrete a chemical substance called suberin in their wall. So this suberin will it won't allow any microorganisms or any water to get inside the plant. Thereby it will protect the plant for years. Thereby it will protect the plant for years. So here what you want to remember? Stem epidermis is as the plants grow, it started to secrete a chemical substance called suberin. What is the nature of the suberin? This nature of the suberin, it won't allow any water or any microorganisms to get inside the plant. Okay, automatically if there is no microorganisms or pathogens, means automatically the plant will have a more lifespan. So that is the nature of suberin. So what is suberin? Suberin is a chemical substance. Where we can see the suberin? We can see the suberin in the stem of the, that is matured stem, not a young stem. Young stem will be green in color. There we can see only cuticle. Now imagine the very old plant like neem tree, banyan tree and all, outer layer become a very dark, okay, brown like substance, like this, cork like. You can't see greenish substance. So where the epidermis was changed into a suberin component. So it is a chemical. So there you can't see any intercellular spaces. So it won't allow any gases or microorganism to get inside. So this layer acts as a protective layer for the stem. Is that clear? So that is only very, very important. You want to learn under this stem of the plant, matured stem, not a young stem. So now we'll recall. Epidermis will contain cuticle. Epidermis of leaf contains cuticle. First, what is epidermis? Second, epidermis of leaf is contains cuticle, and epidermal of root is root hairs, and epidermis of stem is suberin. Is that clear, children? Suberin. And next we'll see what is cork. Cork is a protective in nature and it will prevent loss of water from plant and injury. As it does not catch fire easily, it is a light. It is used as an insulator and sports goods. So this cork, where we are taking cork means we are taking cork from the bark of the tree. We have learned in cell chapter, no? The Robert Hooke, he took thin slices from the cork of the plant only. So what is cork? Cork is the bark of the tree. So when we take the bark of the tree, it doesn't contain any weight. Why? Because there is no water, there is no reserved food material inside the bark. Because all wall layer was covered by a suberin, so there is no entry and exit. So the cells become very, very light-weighted. So the cork is nothing but a bark of the tree. It is very, very light-weighted because there is no water inside the cork, and it will help as an insulator and in a sports good also. That's all about the stem of the plant epidermal cells, that is the suberin, and we have learned about the cork also. So please read these questions, okay? That is your assignment. So these 6 questions you want to write it as an assignment. Today no test, children. Please find out the answers for these questions with the help of your textbook or with the help of the video lesson. Afternoon you should submit assignment. Next class happily will start a complex permanent tissues like xylem and phloem. Hope you will follow. Thank you, children.